Something's coming, and it's bringing all of hell with it.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Monsternado, and this 2023 film was directed by Tyler James and stars May Kelly, Derek Miller, and Michael Siegel, among others, of course. The story of this movie is that there's this tornado that originated in the Bermuda Triangle, and it is also filled with monsters from the Bermuda Triangle deep sea, I guess. Even though some of them aren't really sea creatures, but whatever. And now this tornado, or Monsternado, is rampaging across the United States, and it's up to the only scientist who is actually studying Bermuda Triangle tornadoes to try to save the day, along with a few others, of course. Will they be able to stop the Monsternado? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. And of course, let's start with talking about the elephant in the room, and that is that this is a ripoff of Sharknado. And it's just like Sharknado too, like there's no reason for the Sharknado to really exist. And this one just starts off that way. It just, there's a tornado full of monsters coming our way. What can we do? And it is, just a Sharknado movie, just with a lower budget and slightly different monsters. Though the tornado does actually have sharks in it too. So it's like part Sharknado as well. And it is fun, ultimately. I did enjoy Sharknado for what it's worth, and all the silliness that goes along with it. And this one is just all of the same silliness, and it's just lower budget. That's really the only difference. And so if you enjoyed the Sharknado series, you'll probably be able to turn this one on and enjoy it as well. It has, sharks flying around, monsters flying around, giant squids flying around, all these different monsters just, flying around in the air. What is there not to enjoy about that? In addition, I thought the CGI was really good, actually, especially for a low budget film. So they have things that really kind of seem to interact with the world, knock over things, break glass. Sometimes they do kind of look like they're just very stiff, like when they're flying around in the tornado, they're not really bending, they're just like their character models or whatever, just going around. But that's inside the tornado. Once they are, on the ground and engaging in things, they look a lot better. And that is certainly a big plus. So, big props to their CGI team. Also, with all of the characters, I gotta say they do a good job, doing all these different characters. I thought they were quite a bit of fun. They have like this FBI female team kind of thrown in there, and they have no point except just to bring fun. They have this reporter thrown in that's just there to bring fun. They have like a roommate who's kind of like a deadbeat guy, but he's a lot of fun as well. The scientist, the main scientist, just is the one guy who happens to understand what's actually going on and actually how to stop it. And, they gotta follow his plan, but he's fun as well. So I would say like all of the characters certainly do work for what they're going for. The actors do an all right job. I think with this one, I think it's like Dark Abyss production, and they, I think, are like a UK based one. So all of these actors are, British actors, or at least, operating in Britain. So they all should have an accent, but they actually do a fairly good job with an American accent, until they don't, of course. But, for the most part, their accents work for what it is as well. So it is certainly on the character side, all good, helps you get into it. So, there is stuff in this one that you will certainly enjoy. What else can I tell you that works? Ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's just a fun little B movie. I think with this one, B movie lovers will certainly be able to turn it on and consume it one night with your eyes. It's, a wonderful little watch, just, for entertainment, nothing to take too seriously, that's for sure. And of course, it's a ripoff of Sharknado. Like, I never knew I wanted to watch, a lower budget Sharknado, but here we are, and I can ultimately say it does work for what it is, and it is fun that way. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, as a Sharknado ripoff, of course it's going to be silly. If you're looking for anything serious or anything even like kind of really coherent, then this is not going to be the movie for you. It kind of just seems like nothing is really explained, but it doesn't really need to for you to really enjoy it. So you just go along with it, trying to enjoy it as much as possible, because, the tornado just kind of starts. Like, it's just like, oh, now we have a Monsternado in the first 5 minutes, and now we got to deal with it. And of course that scientist is like, oh man, like I've waited like 30 years for this, it's finally happening. But no real explanation of what's actually going on. And so it is odd that way. And there's a lot of other odd things too that really have no kind of rhyme or reason to them. For example, they do go underground at one point, but then like monsters are crashing through the walls of these tunnels, and it's just like, that doesn't really make sense. Like they would have to burrow through the ground in order to get to the wall and have enough force to, push through the wall. And so that doesn't really make sense. They do have them, come through windows and stuff, but that's, actually logical rather than them having to burst through a wall in a tunnel underground. It's really odd that way. And so, don't think about it too much. In fact, probably don't think about it at all. Just go along with it and try to enjoy it for what it is. And with this one, they try to make you think it's in the USA, even though it's like clearly not. They have a lot of structures or buildings or architecture that's very clearly UK. Like they'll have, what's that, like egg-shaped building in London? They have that in the background sometimes. I think it's called the Jerkin. So they're like jerking your chain with this one, trying to make you believe it's the USA. They do an okay job, I guess. It depends on how much you recognize of, UK architecture. I've seen quite a few of these kind of lower budget production companies do all this stuff, especially with, Scott Chesfree's company and whatnot. So I do recognize very same sets, very same locations, but like I said, they do an alright job. I think it actually adds to the kind of humorous quality to it. Like I was just laughing along with half the stuff. Oh, there goes the jerkin again, or whatever, So it adds to the funness of it, but it's not the most successful thing, and that I think is part of the charm of it all. As for my recommendation, well, certainly if you're a B-movie lover and if you've watch the Sharknado movies and you love all of those ones, then press play on this one. It's a cute little fun watch. Certainly is entertainment for B-movie lovers because it has all those B-movie qualities in it that just, put a smile on your face sometimes. And that's kind of just what you need, some dumb fun, and this certainly provides it. As for my rating, well, I'm going to give it the average score of 5. I had quite a bit of fun with it. I think it's just really kind of an average B-movie when it comes down to it. I think for a general audience, maybe they would go down to 4, but that's if you don't really, like the B-movie qualities that this one demonstrates throughout the whole thing. And as a B-movie lover, that's what I'm there for, so I'm going to give it the 5. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.